Hey guys, Mark here from Ratings.com, and today we're comparing the Bose Noise Cancelling Headphones 700 to the Bose QuietComfort 35-2s. The NCH700 are the latest wireless noise cancelling over-ears from Bose with a sleek new look and an updated list of features to better match competing models on the market. Features like the touch-sensitive surface and a motion-sensitive auto-off timer make the Bose 700 feel more modern, but how do they stack up when compared to the Bose QuietComfort 35-2? Also being slightly pricier, are they worth the upgrade, or are you better off sticking to your pair of QC35-2s? Well, in this review, we'll compare the design, sound quality, isolation, and microphone, which you get to hear for yourself later on in the video, as well as the active features and connection options. But as always, let's start with what's in the box. As for what's in the box, starting with the Bose Noise Cancelling Headphones 700, you have a 1.8 to 116 TRS audio cable, a USB-C charging cable, the manuals, the 700 headphones, and a sturdy carrying case. It's about the same for the QC35-2, so a 1.8 TRS to 116 audio cable, a micro USB charging cable, the manuals, the QC35-2, and a slightly more compact carrying case. Now let's get the boxes out of the way and compare the design. For their build quality, the Bose NCH700 really stepped it up in their design compared to the QC35-2. The NCH700 have a great looking stainless steel frame that seamlessly connects the two ear cups with no folding joints, and the headband is well padded with a soft rubbery coating, and the ear cups look sleek but do not feel quite as sturdy as the rest of the design. They seem to be made out of plastic, but could also be a blend of glass-filled nylon, as rumored for the build quality of the QC35-2, although we have no way of verifying that with our current test bench. Also, where the metal meets the ear cups doesn't feel quite as solid as the yokes of the QC35-2, and it is noticeable when adjusting the headphones. On the upside, the NCH700's build quality feels superior to that of the QC35-2 and is a bit more reflective of their price range. The QC35-2, on the other hand, have a more traditional Bose over-ear design. They feel somewhat plasticky, but are reasonably durable. They have a bit more folding joints than the NCH700, which could be susceptible weak points in the long run. A lot of customers online also mentioned that the pads are the less durable thing about the QC35-2's design. But as you can see here, our QC35-2 has held up quite well, and it is one of the more popular headsets in the office. For comfort, it's very close, but the QC35-2, on average, were more comfortable for most people. The NCH700 are still very comfortable headphones with ample pleather-like padding on their ear cups that feels good around your ears. The headband also have quite a bit of cushion and should feel comfortable enough for most, although they're not quite as wide as the QC35-2, so they could put a little bit of pressure on your head. The NCH700 are also a bit tighter, so they stay put, but it also makes them a bit more clamping than the QC35-2. On the other hand, the QuietComforts are still some of the most comfortable headphones that we've tested. The pads of the 35-2 are a little softer than that of the 700, and thanks to the slightly wider headband and lower clamping force, they distribute the pressure around your head and around your ears a little better overall. There won't be a significant difference in comfort between the two models, but it's enough that most people prefer the fit of the QC35-2. For their control schemes, the QC35-2 are a bit easier to use and deliver more tactile feedback. The NCH700 has a mostly touch-sensitive control scheme that works well, but may not be ideal for everyone. The touch surface is fairly responsive, so a double tap pauses and resumes your music, and also manages calls. Swiping up increases the volume level, swiping down reduces it, and forwards and backwards skips and rewinds tracks respectively. It's an intuitive control scheme that's easy to use, but due to the design of the ear cups, does not leave much room for some of its functions. We noticed that trying to rewind tracks was slightly more difficult than on other headsets with similar control schemes, since there is less surface area to maneuver, mostly because of the metal frame intersecting the ear cups. On the upside, they still have physical buttons for turning the headset on and off, and for putting the headphones in pairing mode. You also get dedicated buttons for your device's voice assistant if mapped, and to adjust the preset ANC levels, which you can set within the app. The QC35-2, on the other hand, have a much simpler control scheme with a traditional 3-button setup. You have dedicated volume controls and an easier to use power and pairing switch on the right ear cup. You also get a multi-function button that will play and pause your music, manage calls, and skip and rewind tracks with 2 or 3 presses respectively. The physical control scheme is much easier to use overall, less subject to missed inputs, and should handle cold and freezing conditions much better than a touch-sensitive surface. Unfortunately, we didn't get the chance to test the NCH700 in cold weather conditions like we did with the Sony WH-1000XM3. However, we are planning to add a cold or temperature resistance test to our test bench sometime in the future. So in short, the NCH700 look and feel a bit sturdier and more premium than the QC35-2, but aren't as comfortable, and the control scheme can be a bit of a hit and miss for some. So that's it for the design. Let us compare the sound quality, isolation, leakage, and microphone with Sam.
Our recommendation for sound quality is the QC35-2. However, this is not a straightforward decision, and I recommend you stick around for the more detailed analysis ahead. But before looking at their measurement results, we are going to play a recording we have done with these two headphones, so you can get an idea about how their sound compares for yourself. Just keep in mind that this is a relative comparison and not an absolute one. So it is good for seeing which headphone has more bass or treble, for example, but you won't be able to judge their actual sound profile. And if you get one of these headphones and listen to the same track that we've used here, you most likely won't hear the same thing. Here we have the frequency response of the Bose NC8700 on the left and the Bose QC35-2 on the right. Both of these headphones have an extended and deep bass, but the bass of the NC8700 is heavier around the mid and high bass, and the bass of the QC35-2 is heavier around low bass. This makes the sound of QC35-2 a bit thumpier and more pleasant on bass-heavy material. The mid-range of these headphones is nearly identical and very good. So both are able to reproduce vocals and lead instruments accurately and clearly. The treble range is where these two models differ the most. The NC8700 overall has a less detailed and accurate treble, but as you will see in the next section, this may not be the case for everyone. So if you can, it would be a good idea to try these headphones for yourself and see how they perform on you. In terms of frequency response consistency, we found both of these headphones to perform great in the bass range. Our guess is that they are using their noise-canceling microphones to check for the quality of the fit and seal and to compensate for any possible lack of bass. However, in the treble range, the NC8700 performs noticeably less consistently than the QC35-2. This could cause some users, depending on the shape and size of their ears, to experience the sound of the NC8700 as either darker than the QC35-2 or a bit brighter. So if you want a more consistent sound, the QC35-2 is the safer choice. But if you want to go with the NC8700, we recommend that you listen to them first to make sure that their sound profile is to your liking. This is especially important with these headphones since unfortunately, neither of their apps come with an EQ, which would allow you to customize their sound profile. One last thing is that our measurements show that the NC8700 has a significantly improved harmonic distortion performance compared to the QC35-2. But harmonic distortion is not very audible to humans, so unless you are very picky about the fidelity of your sound, you don't need to worry about this. Now for isolation and leakage, we have also recorded a comparison, which we're going to play now. First up is isolation. As you probably noticed from the recordings, these headphones have an excellent and very similar active noise cancelling system and are among the best ANC headphones on the market. The main difference between them is the slightly superior treble isolation of the 700, which seems to be due to their ear cup design and not related to the active system. Overall, you don't need to worry about outside noise seeping into your ear cups with either of these headphones, whether in an environment with low frequency noise like an airplane or in a room with mid and high frequency noise like an office. Regarding the reports of the decrease in the ANC performance of the QC35-2 since the recent firmware updates, our measurements show very little difference in their ANC performance, and it shouldn't be noticeable to most people. Now, let's listen to the leakage recording. The relatively loud leakage of the QC35-2 was one of its only notable shortcomings, and it seems Bose have improved this with the NC8700. As you heard in the recording and can see here, the 700 leaks significantly less than the QC35-2, so at moderate to loud volumes, people around you won't be bothered by what you're listening to. Now, we usually don't discuss the microphone quality of Bluetooth headphones since almost all of them have a similarly mediocre performance. However, the microphone quality of the NC8700 is such a step up from the rest of the Bluetooth headphones on the market that it deserves a mention. First, let's listen to a recording we have done with the microphone of these headphones in a quiet environment. This is a Ratings.com microphone test. This recording was made with the microphone of the headphones while placed on our dummy head, with my voice being played through the dummy head's mouth. This is a Ratings.com microphone test. This recording was made with the microphone of the headphones while placed on our dummy head, with my voice being played through the dummy head's mouth. This is a Ratings.com microphone test. This recording was made with the microphone of the headphones while placed on our dummy head, with my voice being played through the dummy head's mouth. I hope you agree with me that speech on the NC8700 is noticeably clearer, more intelligible, and in general of a higher quality than on the QC35-2. This is due to the less distortion and higher extension in the treble response of the 700, which results in a cleaner and clearer sound. The microphone of the 700 has significantly improved in noise handling too. So now, let's listen to a sample recorded in a noisy environment. This is a Ratings.com microphone test. This is for you to see if you could hear me in a noisy environment. This recording was made with the microphone of the headphones while placed on our dummy head, with my voice being played through the dummy head's mouth and noise being played through a speaker about 1 meter away. This is a Ratings.com microphone test. This is for you to see if you could hear me in a noisy environment. This recording was made with the microphone of the headphones while placed on our dummy head, with my voice being played through the dummy head's mouth and noise being played through a speaker about 1 meter away. This is a Ratings.com microphone test. This is for you to see if you could hear me in a noisy environment. This recording was made with the microphone of the headphones while placed on our dummy head, with my voice being played through the dummy head's mouth and noise being played through a speaker about 1 meter away. Again, as I guess you noticed, the microphone of the NC8700 is able to separate speech from background noise to a higher degree compared to the QC35-2. It is worth mentioning that since it seems to be using a noise gate as part of their noise rejection processes, your voice could also get cut at times if you speak very quietly. But we haven't noticed this happening very often, and their noise gate seems to be better tuned compared to some of the other ones we have measured. Now let's go back to Mark.
And now for the active features and connection options. For the wireless range, the Bose 700 measured better overall, especially in direct line of sight. The 700 reached up to 50 feet when obstructed and up to 235 feet in direct line of sight, compared to the QC35's 41 and 122 feet respectively. This shouldn't be much of an issue if you typically listen to your headphones with your Bluetooth source in your pocket, like your phone. However, with a fixed source like a PC or TV, then the 700 would perform a little bit better. Keep in mind though that wireless range does depend strongly on your source device, signal strength, and interference around you, so your results may vary. Also, note that the Bose Noise Cancelling Headphones 700 are Bluetooth 5.0 headphones, and our current test bench only goes up to 4.2 for now, so you may get even better results with a 5.0 source. Latency-wise, the Bose 700 performs slightly better than the QC35-2, although not by much. The NC700 had about 192 milliseconds of latency with our 4.2 source, the QC35 220. It's within the ballpark of most Bluetooth headphones without any low latency codecs, so while they won't be the best option for watching a lot of videos or playing games on your phone, they should be okay for most users since they perform about as well as most Bluetooth headphones. Also note that depending on the device or app that you're using, there could be some compensation happening, which means you may not notice the latency that much overall. For the battery performance, it's about a tie, with both headphones delivering up to 20 hours of battery life in our drain test and only taking 2 hours to charge fully, which is great. They also both benefit from a pretty efficient auto-off timer that will power off the headphones after being inactive for a set time, which you can control within their respective apps. However, the Bose 700 also have an additional motion sensor that will automatically turn off the headset after 10 minutes of being idle in a fixed position, which makes them last a bit longer overall than the QC35-2 and other comparative models like the WH-1000XM3. For the apps, the NCH700 support the new Bose Music app that acts like a hub for both the headphones and soundbars in their new lineup of devices. The Bose Music app looks sleek, but as of now does not really add much when compared to the Bose Connect app for the QC35-2, although there are rumors of an EQ that will be pushed as an update sometime in the future. In the meantime, the Music app provides battery data, noise cancelling level options that you can set to quickly cycle through with the noise cancelling button. You can also set the auto off timer like you can with the Bose Connect app, and you also have an in-app player and augmented reality options. The Bose Connect app also has AR features, but it's only compatible with certain models of the QC35-2 manufactured after a certain date. As for the connection options, the Bose 700 have a USB-C port for power compared to the QC35's micro USB. On the upside, they can both connect to two devices simultaneously, so you can easily switch between your tablet and your phone. They also both come with a 1.8 to 1.16 TRS audio cable, so you can use them wired even when the battery dies, which is great, but a little restrictive since it's not a typical aux cable. So overall, which one should you choose? Well, if you already have the QC35-2, then the NCH700 may not be worth the upgrade, unless you make a lot of calls with your headphones or really like the new, sleeker form factor. The Bose 700 are a good all-around headset with great noise isolation, improved leakage, and one of the best Bluetooth microphones that we've measured so far. They also have a comfortable design, a modern, trendier look, and a few new features that may be worth it for some, like a touch-sensitive control scheme and the motion-sensitive power-saving auto-off timer. However, for most, the QC35-2 are slightly more comfortable, a bit easier and more reliable to use thanks to the physical controls, and the fold, making them a bit more compact to carry in your bag. The QC35-2 also have a bit more bass and sound slightly more balanced overall, especially since the NCH700 are a bit less consistent in the treble range. And that's pretty much it. So are you going to upgrade to the NCH700? If so, let us know why in the comments below. It may help us improve our test. You can also check out all our measurements on our website. And if you like this video, subscribe to our channel or become an insider for access to our latest results first. Thank you for watching. See you next time.